Good morning, everyone. Welcome to today's power yoga practice. I did put a little note in. I will be giving options to use a block. So if you have a block or have something similar to a block, grab it now. Don't worry if you don't have one. It's not necessary. It's not vital, but it's just I'm going to give you some options today. As always with these classes, if you have any injuries or if anything feels painful or weird, please just back off and listen to your body. Also, it is donation-based. All my live classes are donation-based. There is a link to my PayPal in the screen towards the side. We're going to get started today lying on our backs. So coming into a lying position. And you can choose today whether you bring the soles of the feet together to touch and open up the knees, or maybe you just lie flat on your back. Arms alongside you, palms facing the ceiling. We'll just take a few moments. You can shuffle around a little bit, but try and have your spine as natural as it naturally lies. So try not to tilt the pelvis one way or the other. And you should probably have a little gap between the lower back and the mat. Some of you, this gap will be a little bit bigger than others. But just notice coming into awareness of which parts of your body are pressing down. Lying here, we're going to start to deepen our breath. So in and out through the nose. Start noticing where in your body you're sending your breath. Notice if it's just in your chest or if you can start really feeling some expansion further down into your body using your diaphragm to breathe. Allow your body to feel heavy for these few moments of stillness, just dropping into your practice, dropping into that mind-body connection that we're working on through every yoga class. If you haven't done so already, start to introduce a slight ujjayi breath at the back of the throat. So that's that audible sound as you breathe in and out through your nose. You can strip the back of your throat and almost make it sound like waves lapping up on a beach. And you want this breath to be loud enough that you can hear it, and if you have anyone else practicing with you today, that they can hear it too. And we'll come back to this breath throughout the class. And notice if at any point you lose that ability to hear your breath. And do whatever you need to do to come back to that same sound that we found right now. If your eyes have closed, open them back up and bring a little bit of gentle movement to your hands, your fingers, your feet and your toes. Maybe take a full stretch, reaching your arms up overhead, waking yourself back up if you felt quite nice and relaxed in that lying down pose. I'm going to stay lying on our back, and if you do have a block or something like a block, you can grab it now. And what we're going to do to start with today is really start to light up our core, so the whole area in the middle of the body. Before we get moving, we're going to start engaging those muscles and just notice how that feels for the rest of the practice. So bring the soles of the feet to the floor as if you were setting up for a bridge pose. Feet are hip width apart. If you have a block, you can place it in between your thighs. If you don't have a block, don't worry, you don't need one. But if you do, I want you to squeeze the block as hard as you can. From here, just slowly start to roll your spine up off the mat. So your hips are lifted, but we're not pressing our chest out, we're not opening through the chest. Keep the tailbone tucked and the core muscles are pulled in. Notice if your rib cage starts opening up and see if you can keep it all sort of tucked in, using the muscles rather than opening up. If you have a block, you're squeezing it as hard as you can. If you don't have a block, without moving your legs, think about squeezing them towards each other. Reconnect with that breath if you've lost it. Make sure your glutes are switched on, so really squeezing the glutes. Everything in the center of the body is sort of hugging in. One more big breath in. And as you exhale, slowly roll your spine back along the mat. We're going to do that 2 more times. So moving slowly to start with, we start to peel our tailbone up off the mat, peel the rest of the spine coming back into that bridge pose. Try not to press the chest open, so notice if your rib cage starts flaring, to tuck it back in, pulling the navel in towards the spine. The glutes are fired up, and as you do that, you tuck the tailbone slightly. The feet are pressing down, whether you have a block or not. You're squeezing the muscles in the legs as if you were squeezing a block. If you do have a block, squeeze it as hard as you can. So what we're doing here is we're starting to wake up the back line of the body. Some of you might feel this one in the lower back, or maybe the hamstrings. One more breath in, and as you exhale, slowly rolling the spine back down. Last one like this. Peel the tailbone, the rest of the spine, the whole of the back, or as much of the back as you can. Coming back up again. Again, take your time to really run your awareness through the parts of this pose. The feet are pressing down. Thighs are switched on, squeezing towards each other. Check in with the rib cage. It's not flaring out. You're not pressing the rib cage up. You're tucking it in, squeezing those core muscles. 2 more deep breaths here. And then slowly roll the spine back along the mat. If you had a block, you can place it to one side. It might feel nice here to sway the knees from side to side, releasing anything in the lower back. Staying on our back, we're going to look at the front of the body. So you'll notice now that the back line probably feels a little bit warmer. So straighten the legs up towards the ceiling, interlace fingers underneath the head, lift the head and shoulders up off the mat. Again, find that tension to the core muscles. You're squeezing it in rather than pushing it out. Stay lifted and have the hands are supporting the head, so there's no tension in the neck here. We're going to lower the right foot so it's 2 inches off the floor. Lift it back up. Swap sides. Left leg comes 2 inches off the floor. We're going to keep moving like this nice and slowly. So switching, right leg drops. Lift it up. Left leg drops. Lift it up. Let's do this for 10, but keep it nice and slow. For 9. Keep breathing. 8. 7. 6. 5, 4, 3, 2, last one. Lift that leg back up and then release the knees, let go of the head, hug the knees in towards your chest. If you need to sigh here, it might feel nice. Breathe in through the nose. Open the mouth. Release it out. Grab the underneath of the thighs and take a couple of rock and rolls all the way up to seated. You can take as many as you like here, and once you've done a few, make your way into a tabletop position. So hands come below shoulders and knees are hip width apart. Spread your fingers wide on the mat. And again, find that core. So we've already turned it on. You might already feel some heat, some sensations in the core muscles. Pressing the hands down. From here, you're going to reach your right arm forwards as you kick your left leg back. Flex the left toes back towards you. Breathe here. Options to just stay with this. Or maybe today you reach back for that left foot. Maybe you hold on to it. If you find it, kick back into your hand and start to open out through the sort of hip flexor on the left side. If you find yourself wobbling, shaking, falling out of the pose, just make your way back in, keeping your gaze focused to one spot. Gently let go of that back foot, meeting everyone back with right arm lifted, left leg lifted. And coming back to center. Let's do that on the other side. Left arm lifts, right leg lifts. Taking a couple of moments here just to find your foundation, really rooting down. And then again, you can choose if you stay here, or maybe you reach back for that right foot or ankle. Maybe you just hold on to it for today. Maybe you start to kick back into that hand and open up a little bit. Again, don't worry if you wobble or you shake. If you fall out, just come back in. Gently letting go of that right foot, everyone meeting back in center. And then release both hands down, both knees down. Let's take a few rounds of cat and cow. Inhale, drop the stomach, arch the back, bring the gaze up. Exhale as you tuck the tailbone around the spine, chin comes towards the chest. Inhale as you arch, open up. And exhale as you round. Take a few more rounds like this to the speed of your own breath. Feeling free to add in any other twist or turn or movement here that your spine needs, your hips need. Just anything that feels good to wake the body up. We're going to be using the arms quite a lot today. So notice how they're feeling. And bring yourself to stillness. And let's take a few rotations around the wrists. So spreading the fingers wide and then moving in whichever direction feels right to begin with. Noticing how the wrists are feeling. As I said, we're going to be using the arms, strengthening them up quite a lot today, so it's important to take care of your wrists. Change directions. Make sure you're pressing down with each fingertip and the thumb here. And then bring yourself to stillness. Walk the right fingertips towards the right, left towards the left. And just take a little sway from side to side. Bring yourself to stillness. And today we're going to bring the back of the hand. So the back of the hand comes onto the floor and the fingertips face towards you. So it might feel quite intense. You might just stay in stillness. You might just sort of come in and out of it. That's absolutely fine. If you are in it and want to take it a little bit further, start to open and close the fingers. If this feels really intense, you can do one hand at a time. And just hold it for a couple of breaths and then release. And last couple of breaths here. And we're going to release both hands. Sit back on your heels. Just take a couple of rotations with the hands if you want to shake them out. Take any movement here to release. And when you feel good and ready, downward facing dog. So coming into that inverted V shape. Hands are at least shoulder width apart. Press down with the fingertips, the knuckle pads. Maybe pedal out the feet a little bit, walking your dog out. Take any twist, turn with the hips, with the shoulders. From here, roll yourself forwards to a high plank. Notice if you had to move your hands or your feet. Keeping the hands and feet exactly where they are, push back into your downward facing dog. So for some of you, it might feel like a slightly longer stance, but see if you can work with this today. Walk your feet to your hands. And on an inhale, roll yourself all the way up to standing. We're going to come to our mountain pose. So feet are hip width apart, arms come alongside your body, palms facing forwards. Press down with the four corners of your feet and engage all the muscles in your legs. So feel the kneecaps pull up. Let the shoulder blades sink down the spine and see if you can lift the crown of the head a little bit taller. There's not really a tuck of the tailbone, but you can feel the core muscles pulling in and up. So you'll notice as we stand here that actually there's quite a lot going on. There's a lot of engagement, and we're going to come back to a lot of this engagement throughout the class today. Take 2 more deep breaths here. Once you've done the 2 breaths, inhale, reach the arms up. Exhale, fold forwards. Inhale, halfway lift, flat back. Exhale, high plank. Options to drop your knees, chest, chin, or we're warm enough for a chaturanga, so just bend the elbows, your choice. Either a cobra or upward facing dog, open the chest. Downward facing dog. So even if I don't give you the options in this class, there's always options to drop the knees or take any additions or slow down parts of the practice at any point. Big breath in through the nose. Exhale it all out, walk, step or jump to your hands. Halfway lift. Fold forwards. Inhale, rise tall, reach up. Exhale, fold. Inhale to a halfway lift. Exhale, step back, high to low plank. Of course, drop the knees if you prefer. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Just starting to warm our bodies up. Maybe things feel a little bit different today that we've already switched on the core muscles. Big breath in. Exhale it all out. Walk, step, or float to your hands. Halfway lift. Fold. Inhale, rise tall. Exhale, bow forwards. Halfway lift. Exhale, low plank, step, or maybe float back. Inhale brings you to an upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Ujjayi breath, always taking a few moments in your down dog to just check back in with your foundations, your hands, your feet, what's going on with your breath, and notice what's going on with your gaze, keeping a soft gaze to one spot. Soften knees, gaze forward, walk, step, or float to your hands. Halfway lift. Fold. Inhale, rise tall, reach up. Exhale, fold forwards. Lift halfway. High to low plank. No rush with the low plank, it's easy to speed through it. As you inhale, it's upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Taking a sigh if you need one. Any movement if you need that. Soften knees, gaze forwards, walk, step or float to your hands. Lift halfway. Fold forwards. Bring your big toes together to touch. Bend your knees for a chair pose. You can choose if you have your arms up or maybe cactus out the arms if the shoulders feel tight. Big breath in. Fold. Halfway lift. Options to stay in your halfway lift or come on into a crow pose, hands flat to the floor, hips lift. If you're newer to crow pose or if you're a little bit unsure, really think about gaze down and forwards, maybe lift up one foot at a time. If you're lifted or if you're trying to lift, we're going to stay for 3. For 2. For 1, shoot back, step back, get back, however you need to do through a vinyasa, high to low plank. Up dog or cobra, downward facing dog. Roll yourself forwards to a high plank, feet together to touch. Side plank, left hand down, right arm up. Lift your right foot and place the right toes on the floor behind you, taking it into a wild thing. Press the hips up. Moving slowly, place your right hand back on the floor. Kick your right leg out towards the left, fallen triangle. If you can, keep that right foot off the floor, but if you need to place it down, do. Bring your left hand back to the floor, 3-legged down dog, kick up. Step your right foot forwards, warrior 1, place both feet down, inhale, rise tall. Exhale, warrior 2. Inhale, reverse. Exhale, high to low plank. Upward facing dog. Downward facing dog. We're going to go on the left side. So feet together to touch, rolling forwards, high plank. Spinning onto your right hand down, left arm up, side plank. Lift the left toes, place them on the floor behind you, wild thing. So if you can, keep that left heel lifted here. Moving slowly, left hand comes down, spinning all the way over into your fallen triangle. Left leg straightens towards the right. Place the right hand down, 3-legged down dog. Step your left foot forwards, warrior 1. Press both feet down, rise tall. Warrior 2. Inhale, reverse. Exhale, low plank. Upward facing dog. Downward facing dog. Taking a couple of breaths in your down dog. We're going to go through that sequence a couple more times. So don't worry if it was a little bit confusing or if you got a little bit lost. Just moving with your breath and to my guidance as well as you can. Big breath in through the nose. Exhale it all out, feet to hands, walk, step or float. Halfway lift. Fold. Big toes to touch, chair pose, bend your knees, reach up tall. Options to stay in your chair pose this time or folding forwards, coming straight into a crow pose. If you don't have crow, if you don't like crow, stay with your chair. If you're in your crow pose, maybe you just lift up one foot, maybe you lift up both feet, stay with it. For 3, for 2, for 1, chair pose, fold forwards. Everyone make your way through a vinyasa, either shoot back, step back, whatever you need to do. Meeting in down dog when you're ready. Roll forwards to high plank. Side plank, left hand down, right arm up. Lift those right toes, place them on the floor behind you, wild thing. Right hand to the floor, spin open. All the way to your fallen triangle, keep breathing. Both hands down, exhale takes you to a 3-legged down dog. Inhale, step your right foot forwards, warrior 1. Exhale, warrior 2. Inhale to reverse. Exhale, high to low plank. You can always skip a vinyasa if you need to. Inhale, upward facing. Exhale, downward facing dog. Roll forwards. We're going to take side plank, right hand down, left arm up. Step those left toes behind you, wild thing. Press the hips up. Left hand drops to the floor. Fallen triangle. Keep that left leg lifted if you can. Both hands down, 3-legged down dog. Step your left foot forwards, warrior 1. Inhale, rise. Exhale, warrior 2. Inhale to reverse. Low plank, hands to mat, or skip it out and step straight into your downward facing dog, your choice. Take a couple of breaths in your down dog. We're going to take one more round like this. Now you know where you're going. Really trying to breathe as you transition, and transitioning from these poses as slowly and with as much control as you can. Big breath in. Exhale it all out, feet to hands. Halfway lift. Fold forwards. Chair pose. You can stay with your chair or you can fold into your crow pose, your choice. Keep breathing. If you're in your crow, we're going to stay for a little bit longer this time. If you have a tripod you want to work on, go ahead and drop the crown of the head. If you're still in your chair pose, keep breathing. Staying for another 3. For 2. For 1, either shoot back, step back, fold forwards, whatever you need to do, make your way to a downward facing dog. Don't worry if it's messy, don't worry if it's wobbly. We're all in a down dog when we are ready. Inhale, roll forwards to a high plank. Side plank, left hand down, right arm up. Step those right toes behind you, it's a wild thing. Place your right hand to the floor, keep your right leg lifted, spinning open, fallen triangle. Kick back, 3-legged down dog. Step your right foot forwards, warrior 1. Both feet down, inhale, rise. Exhale, warrior 2. Inhale to reverse. Exhale, high to low plank, or straight into your downward facing dog, you choose. On your next inhale, roll it forwards, high plank. Side plank, right hand down, left arm up. Left toe, step on the floor behind you, open into that wild thing. Left hand drops, fallen triangle. Try and keep your left leg lifted throughout this whole sequence. Right hand drops, 3-legged down dog. Step your left foot forwards, warrior 1. Warrior 2. Reverse. Low plank or straight into your downward facing dog. We're going to take a few breaths in your down dog. You can stay in your down dog. Drop onto your forearms for a dolphin, or drop onto your knees for a child's pose. You choose. Listen to what's happening to your breath. If you've lost control of your Ujjayi breath, step into a child's pose. It doesn't mean that you're weaker or that you're not doing the class properly. It's just about listening to your body. Last big breath in, and wherever you are on your exhale, make your way to a downward facing dog. Roll forwards, high plank. Feet to touch. Spin open, side plank, right hand down, left arm up. If you need to drop the lower knee, go ahead. Keep lifting the hips. Keep the core pulled in and up. Remember what we were doing at the start of class. From here, we're going to spin onto our left forearm. So moving slowly, moving with control, stack both feet on top of each other, reach the right arm up. Enjoy any wobbles or any shakes. Again, find that engagement. The whole body is switched on here. We're going to move slowly and spin onto our right forearm, keeping the hips lifted, the feet stacked if you can. Left arm lifts. Listen carefully from here. Left hand comes onto the floor. We're going to spin all the way onto our left hand for a side plank on the left. Maybe bring the gaze up towards the right fingers. Stay with it. Gently place the right hand down, high plank. Pause here. If you need to drop the knees, we're going to do the same thing on the other side, so take a break if you need to. Otherwise, we're staying with it and we're going to roll back onto that right hand, side plank on the left. Think about the core squeezing in, almost a tuck of the tailbone. Drop the right forearm down, spin open, forearm side plank. Left arm lifts. Ooh, it might be wobbly like me. Left forearm drops towards the floor. Spin open, forearm side plank. See, as soon as you stop focusing, you might start wobbling. Focus your gaze. Keep engaged in this movement. Right hand comes down, spinning up all the way into your side plank. Right hand down, left arm up. We're just going to stay here for 3, for 2, for 1. Both hands down. You're back in your high plank. Options to drop the knees or keep them lifted. We won't be here for much longer. I'm sure you can feel it in the shoulders. For a count of 5, we're going to lower all the way down onto the mat. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Bring one cheek down, arms alongside your body. Take a few breaths. I did warn you that we'd be using our arms quite a lot today. Maybe you're feeling them now as we rest them, rushing of energy through the arms. Bit of heat still from all of that heat we were building as we were moving. So lying flat on your tummy, bring your forehead down, big toes together to touch, have your palms facing the floor. Press the pelvis down. So again, we're really thinking about this central part of our body. Tuck the tailbone and you'll feel the core muscles switch on. You'll soon realize that actually we use our core muscles in pretty much all the poses that we do in yoga if we are doing them correctly. Press the pelvis down and then lift up into your locust pose. So you're pressing the pelvis down but lifting the rest of your body up. So there's always this two-way energy of pressing down and lifting up. Reach the fingertips so far back that you feel even more of an opening through the chest. Make sure you're still breathing. Notice what's happened to your Ujjayi breath. It might be a little bit more challenging in this pose. And gently let go, coming back onto your mat. Maybe sway the hips gently from side to side. Interlace your fingers at your sacrum this time. Again, big toes together to touch. Find that slight tuck, that slight round of the tailbone as you press your pelvis into the mat and then you lift up. Think about how long you can make your body as well as how high you can lift. Notice where your breath is going here. Maybe you feel yourself lift a little bit higher as you inhale And gently let go, release. Again, sway the hips from side to side. We're going to take one more little back bend. Stay on your tummy. I'm just grabbing my block. If you have a block, wonderful. Again, if you don't worry about it. So you can do the same movement without your block. If you have a block, you're reaching it out in front of you and pressing it in between the palms of the hands. So you're not holding on with the fingertips, just pressing with the palms. So if you have a block, you're reaching it out in front of you and you're squeezing it. If you don't have a block, your hands are out in front of you and have an imaginary block for this one. So you're thinking about squeezing the hands towards each other and you can really feel it. Even without a block, you can start feeling some muscles in the shoulders switch on. So wherever you are, you're either squeezing into a block or an imaginary block. Press the pelvis down. Find that tuck, that engagement of the core muscles. Lift up, take the block with you or the imaginary block. And just because you don't have a block, don't start letting the hands sort of relax. You're squeezing towards. See if you can lift a little bit higher. Make sure you're breathing. For another 3. For 2. For 1. Everyone release. If you had a block, you can let go of it. Bring one cheek down. If you want to, sway the hips. Maybe take a sigh. And when you're ready, lifting yourself up onto hands and knees and just walking your knees in between your hands and come to lying on your back. Feet are flat to the floor, hip width apart. And make sure you just brush your heels, so it's where we started the class. And we're going to press the feet down and again, really slowly, you can have the block if you like the block, but I'm not going to use it for this one. Really slowly feel the tailbone start to lift up and then peel your whole spine up off the mat. You can choose if you walk shoulder blades together a bit more this time, but conscious of the ribcage, so you're not pressing it out, you're keeping everything nice and tucked in, hugging in. I'm going to give you options here. You can stay with this if you feel like there's a lot working for you here, or you can walk your right foot to sort of the center of your mat, so only a little bit in, and lift your left knee up. Again, you can just stay with this, or you can straighten that left leg. Gently place that left foot back down, and take that right foot slightly more to the right and swap the left foot into the middle this time. Really find that engagement. So you don't have to do any of this. If you want to stay in your bridge pose, that's absolutely fine. Otherwise, you're lifting the right knee in towards you this time. You can stay here, or you can straighten that right leg. Keep squeezing that left glute. And gently release. Separate out the feet and slowly, slowly roll back down along the mat. Hug both knees in towards your chest. Give yourself a nice big squeeze. Bring your legs into a chair pose position. Toes are flexed back towards you. Lift the head and shoulders up off the mat. So we're doing the exact same thing that we started the class with. We're switching on the muscles on the back of the body, followed by the front. Hopefully your muscles are feeling a little bit warmer now. And we're going to take some bicycle legs from here. So I'm going to straighten my right leg, reach my right elbow towards my left knee. I'm going to swap sides. So left elbow towards right knee. We're going to do this for 10, 9, keep breathing, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and release, let go. Hug both knees in towards your chest. Couple of deep breaths. Notice what's going on for you physically now. We're using our muscles in a little bit of a different way compared to our normal practice. Grab the underneath of your thighs. Take a couple of rock and rolls backwards and forwards. Again, take as many as feels good for you. And we're going to meet up in a boat pose. So toes are either flexed back towards you or pointed. Arms outstretched. Breathe here. Relax the shoulders. If you want to keep hold of your legs, by all means do. Just staying here long enough that maybe thoughts of how much longer are we going to be in this pose start coming up. Staying with it, just those few more breaths, those few more moments longer than you think you can, than you think you want to. And release, place both feet on the floor, hands come to the knees, and just rest your forehead on your knees just for a moment. We're going to take a vinyasa now. If you want to try a shoot back, go ahead. If you don't know what a shoot back is, or if you want to watch me do one first, grab the underneath of your thighs, take a rock and roll, cross the ankles, place the hands to the mat and shoot back. Try and land in your low plank. So give it a go. You might surprise yourself and do it easily. When you're ready, we'll meet in a downward facing dog. Bring your feet to touch behind you and lift your right leg up. Just pausing here. This is often a sort of transition pose, but actually if you stay here for a little bit, you might start feeling it along your left hamstring, your right glutes. And then let's bring your knee to your nose. Kick back. Bring your knee to your right elbow. Kick it back. Bring your knee to your left elbow. Kick it back. And again, bring your knee to your nose. This time, step that foot in between your hands, and we're going to rise up to our crescent lunge. Settle into the pose, maybe swivel that back foot further back. And we're going to take an open twist from here. So reach your right arm back, left arm forwards. Keep that left glute engaged. So you're not twisting your whole hips here, it's just your upper body. Inhale back to center. Bring your hands together at heart center. Inhale, lengthen. This time we're going to take our usual twist. Left forearm comes to the outside of the right thigh. Notice how this twist feels in comparison to the other. Inhale, come back to center. Exhale, take it into a warrior two. Straighten the front leg. Reach forwards, coming down to your triangle. You can place, if you have that block close by, you might want to place it underneath that right hand. You might want to keep a micro bend in the right knee if that feels good. But let's bring our awareness back to this center of the body that we're really focusing on today. Think about the tailbone, a very slight tuck of the tailbone to engage the glutes, engage the core muscles. Left fingertips are reaching up. Find your Ujjayi breath here. On an inhale, you rise all the way back up to standing. Turn both feet to face the left side of your mat and have the toes slightly pointing in. Bring your hands onto your hips and really ground down with the outer edges of both feet. Inhale, open the chest. Exhale, start to fold forwards, but try and keep the spine straight. It's a bit of a tongue twister. Spine straight for as long as you can. So rather than rounding, reaching the chest forwards, crown of the head down and forwards, you can bring the hands either onto the floor, your shins, your big toe, wherever feels comfortable. And then let the crown of the head reach down towards the floor. Again, if the hamstrings feel tight, you can keep a little bend in both knees. And really pressing down with the outer edges of both feet, so much so that you can actually see a lift in your inner arches. Allowing all the muscles in the face to just relax. Bring your hands back to your hips. On an inhale, with a very straight spine, rise all the way up to standing. Nice work, everyone. Step to the top of your mat. Inhale, reach up tall. Exhale, fold forwards. Inhale to your halfway lift. You can pause in your halfway lift. If you're still raring to go ahead and take your crow pose. We're just going to be here for 3, for 2, for 1. Shoot back, step back, whatever you need to do through your vinyasa, high to low. Up dog or cobra, downward facing dog. Feet together to touch. Left leg lifts. Again, just pausing here. often in a rush in this pose to get going, moving into the next pose. But really notice which muscles this one lights up. And keep the hips square to the floor. So often we start opening to lift the left leg higher. Bring your knee to your nose. Kick it back. Bring your knee to your left elbow. Moving slowly. Kick back. Bring your knee to your right elbow. Kick it back. Bring your knee to your nose. Step it forwards. Crescent lunge. Again, maybe today you shuffle your feet further apart, deepening the pose. Fingertips reach up. Let's take that open twist. Left arm reaches back, right arm reaches forwards. Remember, it's not the whole body twisting. Trying to keep the hips as square as you can as you just twist the upper body. Maybe even bring your gaze back towards those left fingers. Inhale back to center. Bring your hands together. Inhale, we lengthen. Exhale, twisting the usual way, so right elbow over left thigh. Notice the difference in these twists, but notice how in both twists we're really trying to keep stability in this central part of the body. Ujjayi breath. Inhale your way back to center. Open out to your warrior two. Straighten your front leg, reach forwards, coming down to your triangle. Again, it might feel nice to grab that block if you have one. Don't worry if you don't, you can have your hand resting on your shin, but try not to dump your weight forwards. Again, let's think about the tailbone, let's think about the core muscles. It's easy, especially if you are regular at practice, if you regularly practice yoga, to step into these poses and actually not have the engagement. So when you're practicing like this a little bit more slowly, really work from the floor up. The feet are pressing down, the core is pulling in and up. And then you open. On an inhale, you rise back up to standing. I'm going to face you again, just so you can see me. But you're going to be facing the right side of your mat. Set yourself up, toes are slightly pointed in. This time, interlace your fingers at your sacrum. As you inhale, take a little opening through the chest, maybe a small back bend if you're ready. Keep pressing down with the outer edges of the feet and then fold forward. Again, think about that hinging, reaching the chest down and forwards. And then let the crown of the head fall down. If you can, keep the hands sort of clasped together so that you're not sort of flinging the fingertips, so you're not clinging on here, you're actually grabbing hold. This should feel quite nice after we've used our shoulders quite a lot today. And then again, really let the crown of the head hang heavy. Let the muscles in the face relax. If the hamstrings feel tight, take a little bend. And then gently let go of the hands, bringing the hands back to the hips. And with that straight spine, with that core pulled in and up, slowly, slowly rising all the way back up. Nice work, everyone. Again, step to the top of your mat. Inhale, rise up. Exhale, fold it forwards. Halfway lift. Final option for a crow pose today. You can stay with this halfway lift. It's actually quite a lot in the hamstrings if you're doing it right. Or it's a crow pose. Maybe you've never done crow before, maybe you've not done it once in today's practice and you're just going to give it a go, see what happens. Really pressing down with each fingertip. If you're lifted, try and have your big toes touching, lift them closer towards your seat bones. Staying for another 3. For 2. For 1, shooting back. If you shoot back, you land in your low plank with arms bent. Everyone meet in a low plank, push back, high plank. We're going to do that 2 more times. Drop the knees if you need to. Low plank, high plank. Last variation, low plank, up dog. So you're in your up dog and we're going to transition into our low plank. High plank, nice work. Lower down onto your tummy once more. Take a breath, take a sigh, and then reach your right arm out towards the right at shoulder height. So you're just straightening that arm out in line with the shoulder, palm facing down. Press the floor away with the left hand and spin onto your right side. You should be able to have your right cheek on the floor. If it doesn't reach, then maybe place a pillow or something underneath it, or your block. You can choose if you keep your legs on top of each other, or if you want to deepen the stretch, place the sole of that left foot on the floor behind you. If you want more, you can keep pressing down with this left hand close to the face. And what we're doing here is really stretching underneath that right shoulder blade. We've worked our arms pretty hard today, and so it's time to give them a little stretch, give them a little release. Try and keep your Ujjayi breath going. And we're going to move back through center. Reach that left arm out towards the left at shoulder height, and then spinning onto the left side. You can choose if you have your legs stacked on top of each other, or if you bend that right knee, place the sole of the right foot on the floor. Right fingertips are pressing into the mat. And not going anywhere that causes real discomfort. So we're looking for a sensation, some tension, but nothing that is painful or really uncomfortable. And we're going to roll back through center. And push yourself back into a child's pose. So big toes together to touch. Knees nice and wide into your child's pose. We're not going to be here for long. We're going to thread our right arm underneath our left, coming onto our right cheek. So we just stretched the sort of underneath of the shoulder blade. Now we're looking at the sort of main big outer edge of the shoulder. Not necessarily big, but the more obvious muscle in most people. And coming back to center, let's swap sides. Left arm reaches under, left cheek comes down. And you can fiddle around with this one. So for me, on one side, I can get the stretch really easily, and on the other side, I have to shuffle quite a bit more. So feel free to have some movement in this one to feel what you need to feel. And coming back to center, lifting yourself all the way up. And we're going to come to a seated position with our right leg stretched out in front and the left knee bent, sole of the left foot to the inside of the thigh. If that doesn't work for you, you can bring it to the left foot lower down on the leg. If this knee is up high, you can put a cushion underneath it. And make sure you're right on your seat bones. So fiddle around if you need to. Sit up nice and tall. Lift up. So really think that same line of energy. Part of you is pressing down, part of you is lifting up. Take a big breath in. And as you exhale, you're leaning forwards, coming to a forward fold. So here you can have your hands rest either on your shin, ankle, sole of the foot. But really think about reaching your chest forwards. If your hamstring feels quite tight, or if you know you want to get more into your lower back here, you can take a little bend in that knee and you'll feel that you get a bit more length through the spine. Notice as we're staying here for a few more breaths, maybe there's a lovely sensation of tension melting away. Or maybe not, and maybe all you're feeling is real tension that feels like it will never melt away. And know that whatever's going on, it's okay. And you take this time to understand what your body's trying to tell you. And if you need to change something, please do. Bring yourself back up to seated. And we're going to keep this left knee bent, but step it to the outside of the right thigh. Again, you might need to shuffle around, make sure you're on both seat bones. And you're going to hook your right elbow over the left thigh and use that to sort of help twist you. We're going to twist towards the left. So left fingertips come onto the floor behind you. Again, always thinking about that two-way line of energy. So the seat bones are pressing down, crown of the head is lifting up. Try not to lean back into that left hand. It's just there to help guide you. We've nearly got a little dog joining us. She's just watching. She's a bit shy of the camera. And we're going to come back to center and take a counter twist. So both hands come towards the right, just allow that releasing sensation. And then coming back to center, we'll swap sides. So left leg straight out in front of you, right knee bends. Again, choose if you want to prop that right knee up. Pop a little block under it if that feels good. And then shuffle around so you're on both seat bones, reach both arms up. And then really think about leading with your chest as you come to a forward fold. Hands can rest on shins, ankles, or knee, or sole of the foot even. And again, choose if you're really enjoying the sensation with straight legs, do that. Or you can take a little bend in that knee and get more into the lower back. Keep your ujjayi breath flowing. No matter what distractions might be around the room, pets, children, housemates, even the street outside. And we're going to lift back up to seated and take a twist the other way. So keeping this right knee bent, place the sole of the foot to the outside of the left thigh. Sit up nice and tall. Make sure you're equally on both seat bones. Hook the left elbow around that right thigh this time, and we're twisting towards the right. So right fingertips lightly on the floor behind you. Think about the line of energy in the spine. Even as you're twisting, you're trying to keep the spine as straight as you can. Maybe your gaze is just over towards the right, or maybe it's all the way behind you. You choose how your neck is feeling. And we're going to release this side. Again, taking that lovely counter twist, both hands towards the left. Coming back to center, and we're going to make our way to lying on our back. We're going to take an inversion. I'm just going to talk you through a really quick restorative inversion because we're not going to be there for very long. If you have a block, you can use it. If you don't have a block, don't worry. So we're going to have our, if you're using a block, I'll go through this first. Just placing it underneath your sacrum, feet come up. Some people, the block doesn't work anyway, so if you don't have a block, just doing the exact same thing without the block underneath you. If you want to make it even more restful, you can place your feet up against a wall. Whatever you're doing, you're just trying to get your feet up high, allowing a nice rest. We haven't worked our legs quite as hard as these usual Sunday classes, but don't worry, we've done quite a lot in the arms. And it's still a great way to close a practice, inverting. It's so energizing for the body. If you're ever feeling a little bit lethargic mid-afternoon, rather than reaching for a coffee, maybe try getting your feet up high, especially while we're all working from home. There's not so much of an excuse. And gently releasing, placing the feet back on the floor, removing the block if you were using one. Hug both knees in towards your chest. Give yourself a nice big squeeze. We've done lots of twisting, but if you need another one, by all means, go ahead and take it. Otherwise, bring your forehead up towards your knees. Make yourself really, really small. Take a big inhale through the nose. Open the mouth, sigh it out. Shavasana. Final rest. Close down the eyes. Allow your body to take up space. And coming into complete stillness. Just for these final couple of minutes. Start to deepen your breath. Bring some movement to your fingers and your toes. Let your head roll from left to right. Reach your arms up overhead, take a full body stretch. Waking yourself back up. Roll onto your right side into a fetal position. With as little effort, as little movement as possible, come up to a seated or a kneeling position. Hands together at heart center and your eyes closed. I'm closing our practice today by bringing to mind someone or something that we're grateful for. And with that thought in our mind, in our heart, lift your thumb and knuckles up to your forehead center. And together we bow forwards and say, Namaste. Thank you very much for joining me today. I hope you enjoyed it. It was a little bit different to our usual flows. Hopefully your arms are going to feel a little bit stronger. If you have any questions, as always, please let me know. Any requests as well. Otherwise, have a wonderful, if you're in London, sunny Sunday. I'm not sure what the weather's like elsewhere, but I hope you have a great